Hello, I'm John Bitson, the Menard Family Director of the Sheila and Robert Challey Institute for Global Innovation and Growth. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Jeremy Straub. Jeremy is a Senior Faculty Fellow in the Challey Institute. He's also Director of the NDSU Cybersecurity Institute, and he's an Associate Professor of Computer Science at NDSU. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thanks for having me, John.
Jeremy, you do a lot of very interesting research related to cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and policy. What types of questions do you aim to tackle with your research?
Well, that's a really good question, John. And what I'm looking at normally is the intersection between technology and policy. So looking at how policy impacts technology and how the types of technologies that we're developing may need new policies or where they may fall under existing policies. So really trying to understand how the two worlds kind of intersect with each other and, whether stuff is falling through the cracks.
And that's a very important research that you're doing. Could you talk a little bit about the impact that your research has on society?
Yeah, definitely. And, certainly thinking about it from that perspective is a way that I really like to approach it in terms of, what areas to focus on, what new technology may have the most impact, what types of policies relating to that technology may be they have the biggest impact on the technology or on society in general. So one area that I've been working on a lot recently is related to the regulation of artificial intelligence. And there's a lot of discussion about how we should regulate AI, whether we should regulate AI, even who should be regulating AI. And so that's something that I've been looking at a lot and trying to understand, where could we have regulatory sources from? What would be the implications of some of those regulations? And in particular, trying to make sure that we're not ending up with regulations that, impair the ability for the technology to evolve, for it to grow, and really for it to make the world a better place.
That's extremely important. You're really on the cutting edge of research in this area. Can you talk a little bit about what are some questions that you maybe want to tackle in the future?
Absolutely. One of the things that I'm really interested in right now, and that kind of leads into that, that next series of questions is about specifically related to the regulation of AI at the federal level. And so there's a lot of talk about, a variety of different regulatory sources, whether it's an executive order, which has been talked about a lot recently, or congressional action, or maybe a combination of a few different things. We might also see something like an agency rulemaking process going forward. And so kind of looking at the implications of all of those different sources of regulations, who could be promulgating those regulations, what authority they have to actually do that, and what types of regulations they might create. So, you imagine maybe the Department of Energy could make AI regulations specifically related to the use of AI in the production or transmission of energy, but that wouldn't affect, say, AI use in an educational environment where you might have the Department of Education that might do that, or you might end up with new legislation, coming out of Congress or an executive order coming out of the White House that could actually have a wide-ranging effect. And I suspect what's going to happen is there are going to be a number of different places that are all trying to do different regulatory actions concurrently. And the intersection of those regulations or those potential regulations can actually be kind of interesting too, because sometimes you get really unexpected results, particularly if you have an agency that's trying to regulate under existing authority and the Congress that's creating a new regulatory authority.
Well, thanks for taking the time to share this important research with us. I'm really excited to see what happens with this in the future and to see the important influence that you're having on society. So thanks again for being here, and I appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Charlie, again for having me.